Okay, so I was blessed to grow up knowing that I am whole and complete and well-being is my permanent state. I was not immunized, which has always been fine with me. And, excuse me, y'all. So when I was pregnant with my first child, the town I lived in, there was this big hullabaloo about immunizations and kids were being pulled out of school, all of this stuff. So I didn't know the term the path of least resistance at the time, but I really felt like I know that these shots are not going to harm my children in any way whatsoever. That well-being is their permanent state. It doesn't matter. Wow, I sound like I'm really nervous. Okay.
Do you want us to rub the microphone on your face?
Please rub it all around me. Okay. So I wasn't concerned about them at all. Either way, I wasn't concerned about me if some big, huge epidemic came. I wasn't worried about them at all. So the path of least resistance, so then they didn't have to be pulled out of school or whatever, so that relatives weren't freaking out. So I went ahead and just got them immunized. So that was the reason why I didn't do it, and I feel fine about me, them. But then a couple of months ago, I heard you say something to someone like, if I was in y'all's physical state, I would get the kids immunized, which I was really surprised about.
We are talking to an individual who was in a situation as you were describing. And we are always, whenever we answer any question, we are speaking to the individual who has asked the question and taking into consideration what their path of resistance or lesser resistance is. That's the only thing that ever matters. The action is not important. It's how your action affects your flow of energy. The worst thing you could do is to believe that something is terrible and do it.
Right.
Because that causes a vibrational tug of war within you, you see. And so it's not the behavior that matters, it's how you feel about the behavior that matters. And so everything that you said leading up to that part of the question, you were in alignment, in alignment, in alignment. In other words, you talked about it as if you had brought yourself to the place of realizing that it was no big deal. That's what we would encourage.
Okay, I guess when I heard you, I guess I was like, wait a second. I'm fine with my whole decision. I guess I was surprised at what you had said because I was like, wait a second. I thought she was always coming from a place of well-being. So if we are well,
but
why would you need immunity? I mean, I know why I did it, so I just didn't, I guess I wanted further. Okay, let's say that. I didn't understand I guess, at the time.
Well, then this is a very good discussion to have. So let's start with the true basis of this conversation. Humans who are so often not connected to their broader knowing spend most of their time talking to each other from a receptive mode that is less than connected from source energy. Can we just start there? So humans, for the most part, you are certainly a body of exception for the most part, are wanting to find right and wrong action from results that they are seeing. So they are taking polls and statistics and trying to guide their behavior from past experience. Now, scientists would say, well, that seems like a pretty valid way to move forward as they watch behavior and they watch results and then they duplicate and replicate results and get similar responses. Then so many people are not inspired in their behavior. They're sort of motivated by the action that they witness. But the results of that are that most humans spend an inordinate amount of time bickering with each other about right and wrong action, even about what results are coming from what. And so we are standing back and watching the results that so many are getting from their action-based philosophies, noticing that it's their vibrational countenance that's making the difference anyway, not the actual behavioral aspect that they are applying. And so in all of the words that we are speaking to all of you, we're talking about getting into that vibrational place where you have the wisdom of your broader perspective and then making your decisions. And that does not mean that somebody in perfect alignment with well-being wouldn't find that still to be a path of least resistance. What we want you to help us say in a clearer way than we've ever said it before is that we are never ever guiding any of you toward or away from any behavior or action, ever. Because each of you are individually in your place of believing whatever it is that you are believing, and your beliefs have brought you to a place of asking for yet more. And we know that your life, your perfect life in this perfect environment of perfect contrast, will lead you to perfect asking, and that in the state of allowing, you will discover your happily ever after. So what we're saying is, you can live happily ever after doing that thing that you're talking about, or you could live happily ever after not doing that thing that you're talking about, but you cannot live happily ever after believing that you should do that thing and not doing it, or believing that you should not do that thing and doing it. Is that clear? And so then you come together with others, even those that are up close to you, like your own children or your partners, your spouses, your good friends, and you still tend to want agreement from them about what you're doing and about what they're doing. And we want you to just stay out of everybody's business and let everybody establish their own personal and perfect relationship between their beliefs and their desires, because that's where the action is all the time. You have beliefs that serve you. You have some beliefs that aren't serving you. But this is a statement that we want you always to remember. The beliefs that you currently hold will not serve you for very long, because they are old news. You have to keep honing and finding the beliefs that are most conducive to your joyous motion forward. Adaptation is the word Esther is finding for what we mean. Evolution, expansion, changing constantly, morphing into new, you see. And what you don't realize as consciousness is that you are expanding at a faster rate than ever before, which means it's more important that you keep up with your own vibrational expansion, which means you can't keep going to meetings where people are talking about the same old stuff and trying to coerce you into behavior based upon their negative facts. That's why you hear us say what we say. And so every now and again, someone will be very stubborn, and they will sit in the hot seat or somewhere, and they will demand of us, Abraham, if you were standing in my physical shoes right now, what would you do? And taking into consideration where we know they are and what we know is in their vortex, and most important, what their path of least resistance is, meaning the resistance that they've thrown on their trail. We are guiding them around the resistance that they've thrown on their trail. Because there is always a better path and a less good path, always, 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 always. And the path that feels the best is the best, not because of the better results that it's going to bring you, but because it feels the best. This is the part that you are sort of resistant to hearing so often. You think that we're trying to tell you what to do based upon what we know about you, so that you'll get to where you think you want to be, or where you do want to be, faster. Well, we want you to get to where you want to be, of course we do, but we want to lead you to the relief, to the joy, to the energy flowing, to the resources, to the resourcefulness, to the renewal, to the vitality, to the restoration. We want to lead you to the energy flow, to the energy flow, to the energy flow, to the energy flow, to the energy flow. It's the only thing that matters, the energy flow. It's the only thing that matters, the energy flow. It's the only thing that matters, because that's what life is, that's what love is, that's what joy is. The energy flow, the energy flow, the energy flow, the energy flow. Get a vaccination or don't, but be vaccinated regularly by the energy flow. Enough?